Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have Dave back. I think it's this way, but it's mirrored, so maybe it's this way. Anyways, it's Dave. And anybody that's been watching my channel for or sticking with me for quite some time know that I have Dave on once a month. And when I do that, I usually try to source some questions from my subscribers to ask Dave, because what he does is a lot like what I do. It's not like remote viewing, it's a lot like psychic viewing, and he also speaks from the Akashic records, I believe, and he also asks his creator on what's going on. So with that said, I do want to have him say what he does on his channel and how to get a hold of him and things like that, and then we're going to talk about that video you and I did on your channel.
Great. So, how do you want me to start?
Just, yeah, what do you do on your channel? For the people who have never been here before, who are you? What do you do? How to get a hold of you?
Yeah. Okay, sure. I'm Dave Johnson. Moonride is my sort of channel. And if you want to go to my website, I believe it's www.moonride.com. Don't forget the AU, because I do live in Australia. I'm doing a lot of things right now. I'm starting to do these sort of past life. I'm calling them healing hypnosis, because I think that's what it really is. It involves putting people under a sort of state of hypnosis and letting their subconscious speak. I believe your subconscious has a lot of powers, and you can call it spirit if you want to, or you can call it subconscious. But I believe those powers are really so powerful that they can heal, at least ameliorate almost any problem, any illness, any disease. I'm not allowed to say cure, and it wouldn't be right to say cure, because that's not exactly what's going on.
Right.
It really is just you, like Sheila in that video, just achieving a state where you're really speaking, I'm going to say, a higher truth. Some people might say you're speaking the voice of God. And if you watch Sheila do that session, we both had this feeling, like, I mean, I certainly had the feeling because you were there in your hypnosis state, but I was like, I'm talking to God right now. If you watch that, I don't think you would disagree. Everybody can talk to God. Sheila's better at it because she's had more practice. And if you watch that, you will see it. But that's one of the things I do. I also channel. If you watch my channel, you can see me do some predictions on political events. I also do shamanic work, which I'm starting to consider maybe doing in some groups, because I love doing it. And it's really, really an effective way of getting people to not necessarily need someone to help them channel, but being able to do it yourself. That is really my goal, is to get people to maybe have a few methods or tricks or ways to speak to spirit on their own.
Yes, I totally agree with that for sure. And after our session, and if you go back onto Dave Johnson's channel, he has posted up this video of him and I. And what he did is he took me down into like a past life regression
Mm.
session. And prior to that, just a little prior to that, he asked me to come up with some questions. He asked for 10. I think I gave him 3 or 4. You know how I do. But anyways, a lot of my questions were just out of, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right thing? Is my spirit, is it evolving the way it's supposed to, kind of a thing? And of course, some of it was about my weight. I mean, I've been thin for all of my life until all of a sudden these last 4 or 5 years. And it was just something that I just couldn't figure out. And I think a lot of that, the questioning was also wrapped around that as well. But my question for you is, and you can speak about my session or anybody's, I guess, if you have permission. But when you are doing this and you're taking them into their life regression, what are you doing? What is your spirit? What are you going through?
Well, this is one of my favorite things about it, right? As when I also teach people how to channel. And one thing that happened when I was doing that, I realized, like, I'm starting to do this. I'm starting to do this movement. So I am in a sort of state, an otherworldly state, if you will, a state of channeling. So, there's kind of a script that you go through if you studied hypnosis, and there's various schools that you might study. But there'll be points when I'm just like, that script is no longer useful. I just get a question. I just know, oh, ask Sheila about her shoes. And that the shoes are that key to, I don't know where that comes from. I accept that I do, meditation before, and I really try to focus. I'm burning all my incense and stuff, and I can feel it. I'm just like, I'm just starting to move. This is why, other people have put up sessions like this. I totally recommend seeing people like Alba Weinman. Antonio Sangio does something similar too. But I really wanted people to see how my state as I'm doing this, and for them to understand that me and my client, we're both channeling. I mean, you were channeling, frankly, better than me channeling. I was just kind of like the holder of the space, but you took it into, it's super interesting to think that the both of us could kind of be holding this energy at the same time. I
Right.
want to say that I'm a little bit more attached to the space I'm in because I'm the practitioner and I need to manage this and make it safe. But there really is, it's almost like a lot. Sometimes some of the things that you were saying to me were incredibly moving. Often the things that my clients will say will like be a message for me. It'll be a reflection of my own life. And I'll be like, that wasn't just for Sheila. That was also about my own weight, and you were really brave to let me put that on there. And I think your viewers appreciate how brave you were to talk about such intimate questions about your life. And I'll tell you, Sheila was totally brave. She was like, you put it out there, Dave, it's all good. And I trust you and all that stuff. It's a really, really cool experience, I have to say, to be in that state where you're just like, oh, and it's also a really cool experience to be like, wow, I'm talking to God right now. I could ask Sheila any question and she would have the answer. Okay. And it's like, Sheila,
Wow.
Sheila, both of them. You remember, like, what's so interesting about that is Spirit says, she's not going to remember this, Dave. You're going to have to send her a video. She won't remember this half hour. I was like, okay. And then the minute we stopped, you're like, Dave, did you put me to sleep? What happened? Yeah. I was like, laughing like.
I honestly thought that we were just in quiet time. Like you had just, like we were just in this quiet time after I had recessed into those 2 lifetimes that we did come up with were fascinating. And I just thought, I literally thought that you just put me into quiet time, like we were just meditating.
Yeah,
and it was, I did.
So just, I mean, just imagine, you watch videos where people are doing that kind of channeling. They come in with this intention, they are going to channel, and they'll sort of give this wisdom to people. I don't think they were as good as that. Wow. I don't think they were as clear as you were. Just like if you listen to the way that like Sheila's like asking the questions or saying these statements, they were like, the point that I made to you before was at one point I made a mistake and I asked sort of the same question twice. And you're like, I believe we have already talked about that. It wasn't like you or me like, hey, dumb, you already asked that question. I already answered it. It's like, I believe you. And I was like, okay, you're right. Thanks, Spirit. Move on. Yeah, sort of deal. It's really, really a cool experience. I cannot explain how much like pleasure and intrigue that it just gives me to be in that state where I'm really able to help someone, learn from myself, speak to the universe. And I will often do that, like with the channeling sessions. People are ordinary people will learn to channel and they'll be like, so, and I'll ask, why are people Trump supporters? And they'll have the answers. You're just like, oh. You couldn't possibly have said it better than when people are channeling.
Right. Exactly.
Like you could come to that understanding maybe, but it's perfectly non-judgmentally, kindly expressed.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Well, I do surely appreciate that. I know that I was just as shocked and really afraid of, possible judgment on the whole situation. And
Ah,
so I really am grateful for that. So what I want to do is kind of move into some of the questions, but I just wanted to have a little bit so that people would understand exactly what happened. So if you haven't watched that video, go watch the whole thing. I know it's a little long, but I think it was worth every ounce of that. Even when I
mhm.
was watching it, I felt like I was watching somebody else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I
Mhm.
remember when at the end of that, when you were bringing me up and out of that, I just remember the dog.
Uh-huh.
That's all I remembered. I'm like,
Really?
yeah, I'm like, I've been asleep, and all of a sudden now I'm petting my dog. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
my
And
dog really,
I don't want to imply to everybody that you're going to have the same experience as Sheila. You'll have the experience you need to have.
yeah,
Sheila, pretty experienced at talking to God. So, it might have been slightly easier, but every single person is surprised at how beneficial it is.
yeah,
Really surprised. Like, even people are pretty skeptical and they're like, I don't know about this. I'll try it. They'll be like, I can't believe that problem was solved. Like, I am no longer experiencing insomnia.
yeah.
And don't want to imply like it's this cure all and you're going to get that same experience. That's not really true. But it is fantastic for virtually anyone, even if it's just a fairly small diversion into spirit. It's exactly what people need.
I know I've been getting a few comments on my channel about how she was like, wow, retirement, it looks good on you. You seem so calm. And I'm like, I think this is equated to my session with Dave Johnson.
Wow.
It's like anxiety seems to have just followed me all of my life. I always had this undercurrent of anxiety coming, and I've had to
Mm,
do everything I can in my power to subdue that. And I actually feel calm instead of acting always calm. You know what I'm saying? The difference. But I mean, I'm literally feeling the deepest calm that I've ever felt in a long, long time. So
I'm glad
yeah,
about that.
things are
And
changing. And
again,
well, I'm an emotional eater. So if I'm not emotionally anxious, I'm not emotionally eating either. So even that has just changed
mm,
completely.
well, again, I have to say, you were really awesome to do that with me. You're really brave and
Thanks.
brilliant. I mean, that channeling that you were doing at the end was just like, I mean, I'm like your audience. I'm just like,
Oh,
my gosh.
well, thank you, thank you. All right. So, thank you, Dave, for that. All right.
Sure.
So we have a few questions here. If you're ready, take a deep breath, get connected, wiggle out of it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. It says, how can the US compete with China? I fear that Chinese government is becoming too far powerful as they take over countries, economies all over the world.
Mm. Well, what I'm seeing now is these ships. I'm seeing Chinese ships, and I'm thinking of Taiwan, or at least I'm kind of seeing the idea of Taiwan. Let's keep in mind, people are really down on Biden. Subtly, Biden has stopped Putin from expanding throughout Europe. If he did nothing, if he wasn't sort of working to coalesce these powers, then that would be a message to China like, hey, you can move on Taiwan, you can take over any country, nobody's going to stop you. So please understand that one reason that China has not already annexed places like, sorry, I forget the names of countries, Taiwan, that it is because the messaging is going on, right? And that messaging needs to continue to go on. And frankly, we need a strong government. When I say strong, that doesn't mean go and scream and attack as certain former presidents might do. That means bring yourself forward and say, we're not tolerating this. We will not tolerate Putin's invasion of Ukraine. We will go forward and send a message. This is one thing. But, something I'm going to say in the beginning of this is just Dave Johnson, and that is people overestimate China's power. China's average Chinese person does not have anything near what an American has, right? A few rich people, yeah, but most Chinese people don't have that layer of power. The fact that they borrow, or the U.S. is borrowing money in coordination with China, well, that doesn't actually make China powerful. It makes China very dependent on the United States. If the United States stopped buying Chinese products, they would be in serious financial trouble. Americans would not be in as serious financial trouble, right? And this is going to change. And let's see, keep Dave Johnson aside, go back to the channel portion, which is, let's see, how else do we stop China from expansion? If you think about it, all of us in the past years have been confronted. Trump has front and center confronted us every day. What's happened as a result? Some of it's really bad stuff. We're all really agitated. We're all upset. Some of it is good because we are taking a stand. If you think about the Supreme Court taking away their rights, women to reproduce as they choose, that is terrible. And it has also meant the Republicans are going to lose. Part of these things that are triggering us are supposed to trigger us to have a reaction to work together for a common good and as non-violent a way as possible. So whenever you're getting antagonized by China, understand that you're supposed to be antagonized by China, and you're supposed to say, no, I won't tolerate this. And you're supposed to let Joe Biden know, we are not tolerating this, so that he does his job, because we all know that Democrats kind of have to be pushed a little bit, most of them. So
we're not as aggressive as we should be.
Yeah. But that was a long-winded answer to your question.
Right. Well, that was something that Milo and I were talking about today is China really puts on a facade. Just like we thought Russian was a whole big string thing. All of a sudden we realized they're nothing.
Yeah.
Russia's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Yeah. So I think China is the same way.
And when you were a kid, do you remember, like, under Reagan, Russia has overwhelming capacity, all these things. When then Russia fell, they're like, none of the tanks work. They don't drive. They have 1 million tanks. All of them are, that
was blown out of proportion.
Totally blown out of proportion. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one I have is I would like to know a little bit about Matt Gaetz's future. What will be the outcome of his actions?
Okay, well, I'm just going to burn a little sage here because Matt Gaetz makes me personally so angry. And the fact that he is allowed to do what he did to that young woman and other young women, and I do mean young women, makes me so incredibly furious that I have to stop myself and burn some sage, get myself out of the way, and start to take a look at that evil little worm. Okay, I'm not biased at all. See, Matt Gaetz, get yourself out of the way, Dave. He's doing some horse trading to try to get them to not prosecute. Now, I realized that this worked with that. Sorry, I always forget proper nouns. The guy who was arranging all of those young girls with the woman.
Yeah, the secretary guy. Yeah.
Right, but I also mean the perpetrator who killed himself in prison, or supposedly killed himself in prison.
Epstein.
Epstein, yeah. No, keep in mind that he worked with people in the he worked with prosecutors and stuff to get him to get off. They let him do it. I mean, these were also Republicans who let him get away with doing that, trafficking young women. So why shouldn't Matt Gaetz get the same deal, right? He's just going to horse trade and I'll do this for you. And he is frankly not that worried. He isn't that worried that he will be prosecuted. He pretty much figures Epstein got away with it, so will I. Especially because he doesn't have secrets on others. There's no reason to kill him in prison, right? So he is not at all concerned. And we have to say, look, it has been years. We have had evidence against him for years. Why is there no prosecution against him? This young woman was a victim. She is a witness. Why has her voice not been shared? It's because he's, gosh, let's see. This is interesting. Like guitar strings. Oh, he plays music for them. It's almost like he sweet talks them and makes it go away. They all know that he did it. They all know it. And they do not care because they don't care about women being trafficked. It's really difficult to see these things sometimes, I'll just tell you guys, because it's so disappointing that a human being will, disregard a young person who's been victimized in this way. So he plays political games. So, it's just as he was getting prosecuted, these outlandish stories about these Hollywood guys being a pedophile cabal and all that stuff came about to distract us. That's not accidental. He coordinates with the right wing and he has a lot of money to spend to create these false stories that other people are molesting children to distract himself. This has always worked in the past. I have to tell you, I'm a little concerned because I don't see at this moment any worry for him. But let me take one more step and see, is he going to go to jail? I see a bit of humiliation. I feel like the young woman will eventually get to speak. Is he going to go to jail or not? I got to tell you, I don't feel like he will be appropriately punished for this. I think it's another example of something that should make us all incredibly rageful, that he could get away with that. But I see a jail, but he closes the door behind him and he says, ha, no big deal. There are some consequences, like he might not be able to run an election again, and he might become a political pariah in the future. This is some years away. He is protected by money and power. He's an object lesson in how certain people get away with things. Is there going to be any real consequence for Matt Gaetz? Maybe the only consequence is that he will, in the future, he won't have the power of the political seat that he is in. This might be 5-10 years in the future that he loses the power and that he the rest of his life is sort of a decline. I hate to say it, but I don't feel very satisfied that he is going to punish what he deserves.
Okay. We have another question here. Like they're talking about Texas and they're talking about, are we going to have a blackout again in Texas this summer?
So will Texas have blackouts? Okay, this is really funny, guys. I'm getting a light bulb switch on and off, on and off, on and off. I'm going to say, yeah, there's anything more on the blackouts. It's going to be really a problem for the governor. The silver lining.
While you're there, can you look at Greg Abbott?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it might cost him the election. Right. So show me again the blackouts. And other disasters, like it could even be that the blackouts cause another disaster. I'm seeing a lot of flooding. which, in the state of the summer that we're in right now, doesn't make any sense at all. It's boiling hot. Where's the water coming from? But it's almost like a deluge. It might have nothing to do with water. Um, this problem will cause other problems, and he is going to be on the hook for it. Yeah, so Greg Abbott is in some serious jeopardy, I believe.
Yeah, I do too. I think Texas is really, really leaning towards Beto.
Hmm.
So what we have here is will DeSantis lose his governor seat in November?
Yeah.
Look at the voters, because DeSantis says he's gonna say
Sure, he's going to say, I'm the winner.
yeah.
A good tip there, Sheila. Let's take a
Yeah.
look at Florida. You guys going to elect DeSantis again? Well, in my view, DeSantis grows bigger. This might be initial. Hmm. They do seem to be problems with the coastline. There was that building that collapsed. So there I mean, I'm afraid there could be more such incidents. Oh wait, we're seeing a serious environmental problem. I feel like there could be hurricanes in Florida, and the hurricanes are going to cause him problems. He's very frustrated. Oh, so he grew for a while, but now he's starting to shrink. And he's like a little mini me running around trying to solve these problems and kicking the buildings as they're falling in the ground. Like he's like, really frustrated. So that's looking a little bit dubious for him. Do you know who's running against him? Do we know yet? The Dem?
I
I
do.
don't
I
know.
can't think of the name of it right now. Hang on a minute. I can go.
Yeah, because it helps me to have the names and see like which person gets bigger. Yeah, it's very funny. He's running around like mini me. um, yeah, it doesn't look actually that good for him. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm not so certain about which way this is going.
It says it's the Democrat Nikki Fried or Freed
Okay,
who
let's
is
take a
running for the Florida governor to unseat Ron DeSantis.
good. Hmm. Wow, I'm seeing some pretty cool images of Nikki. And actually, they're kind of spiritual images of Nikki, right? Like I don't know anything about this woman, but I'm kind of like her. Um, I'm actually seeing a pyramid when it comes to her, and it seems to be rising. I'm a little bit optimistic now about this. I was not before the question was asked, but I think things happen to DeSantis that are not good. And it's more than just the environment. There's some other kind of scandal, perhaps involving something like clean water that seems to have taken place. I'm seeing like lots of slush and like it looks dirty and gross, and you're just like, ooh, I wouldn't drink any water even near that water. Let's take a look at Nikki again. How you feeling, Nikki? She keeps going like this. Hooray, victory. I'm kind of optimistic.
Good, good, good.
Yes, go Nikki.
Yeah, I know. Go Nikki. I was just reading it, the Democratic who is running for Florida governor to unseat. Okay, I was just making sure had the right name.
Okay,
It's
good.
it's Fried, so it's either Freed or Fred. I don't know.
Right.
I am the worst. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking for another. Do you know who Mark Short is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think
is
Mark.
Mark Short going to give enough evidence that will aid with the indictment of both of the Secret Service or Trump? That's a loaded question. Will he give up enough evidence? I guess you can go into what evidence he presented to the grand jury.
Mark Short goes like this, enough, right? And look, just as a practical matter, many people are giving this evidence.
Yeah.
It's not just one person's evidence, it's the fact that it all corresponds, right? And he's showing me enough. He says, I have this very intriguing experience, and I hope all y'all notice this, of seeing a Republican change their minds. Mark Short has changed his mind. He was all in on the whole Republican brand and he believed everything, but he changed his mind. He's still clinging to some of the, well, we're good on the economy, which is, come on, so false. Republicans are never good for the economy, nor was Trump. But he still kind of believes the economic stuff, but it really very much upset him what Trump did. And if you look at all the Republicans there, they are, even though they're Republicans, very upset about what Trump did. So upset they're willing to make themselves a target. And I mean, this could be a target where they could be killed. I mean, it's that serious, but they are so upset about it. So you can count on people like Short to tell the truth, because they have like sort of crossed a threshold where they've committed to changing things and committed to being an agent of the truth. I mean, we can even say this about Pence. It actually makes me feel a lot better about Republicans as humans, that they are capable of changing their mind and following justice. Hold on, there's one more thing about Mr. Short. Oh, he shows me a key. There may be corresponding evidence, but he's the key to it, right? He's also the key to making other people tell the truth, because they want to get there and match up the story quick before they get in trouble.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got to. Like he was.
Yeah. And I want to say, rejoice in the fact that the truth is coming out.
Yes.
Right? Whatever happens, the truth is coming out.
Yes. And when I was doing the channeling of Mark Short, I saw him like skipping on the yellow brick road, off to see the wizard. He was like so excited, all of this stuff. That's what I saw him doing.
Yeah, that's a great image. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
He was so happy. So, all right, let's see. So, well, somebody wants to know about Fox News. So Fox News has all of a sudden, they have turned their focus. But is it because they are done with Trump, or is it because of legal matters?
Oh, good question. Why is Fox News doing what it's doing? Okay, I'm seeing Rupert Murdoch, and he's just like a cold, calculating business person, right? He has never cared about any truth or America or justice or democracy. He is merely a person who says, how is this going to be good for me? Right. And honestly, he's calculating that Trump's a loser. He's like, look, he's just lost one election. I better get all my juice behind a new candidate because Trump isn't going to win. Right. It's totally pragmatic. It's completely about him having, the owners of Fox News, they also own, oil wells and lots of energy and sit on lots of energy boards. So they want a president who's going to not regulate them. Trump is not going to be that president because he can't be president right now. He can't even be DeSantis in some polls. So there's really no reason for them to stick with. If they stick with Trump, they'll continue their ratings. But eventually the political leadership of the country will wind up again in the Democrats if they support him. And that'll harm their bottom line. They won't make as much money out of oil. So that's why he's just like, how much money am I going to make with Trump? Zero. So I should transfer to somebody else. It's a long-term economic, CEO strategy that every CEO makes every day. No.
Well, I've been trying to tell everybody too, if Trump decides to be their candidate, what do you think the last 4 years ago 2020, and then 4 years from then, do you think, where do these people are? They leave? Do they change? They're going to vote the exact same way
Uh,
against Trump. And not only that, we're going to gain a few 18-year-olds.
yeah. And let's face it, Trump killed off a lot of the elderly people who might have voted for him. They're dead, so they can't vote,
Yeah.
and they're still getting sick, if not dying. COVID
It's
is not
just a
over.
fight for our life again if he runs again.
Yeah, just a fight for our life again if he wins. But I mean, look, if you look at the trend post hearings, they're not looking good for Trump. The
No.
hearings worked. They did change people's minds. And I know all of us been like, come on. We all saw it. What's the point? What's the question? And we
Yeah.
all saw him tell him to go break into Hillary's emails. Like
Yeah.
we all saw him. There's no question that he's a criminal. But there's something about that exciting television forcing people to watch that has changed their mind. And I hope Democrats get this message. I hope progressives get this message. You need to make a good video or people will
Yeah.
not believe you. It doesn't matter what the truth is. It's the
Yeah, I
video.
agree. I think that they're getting more and more aggressive, and I think they're realizing it. I mean, I really do. I think they're starting to realize that they need to push harder, and we want them to do it. Even Merrick Garland's getting the message, because he even says
Bingo.
this. Yes, he even says on there, says we do not prosecute over for fear or favor, and he made that clear. He's like, nobody.
Yeah.
I don't care if he announces he's going running for. Nobody is above the law. And so
Mhm.
he's even getting out there and speaking up, which is, it's starting to calm us down, because we're like,
Sure,
why
sure,
isn't he in prison by
sure.
now?
Now, what's your read, if you don't mind asking, on him? Do you think that it's because this is just normal? He's progressing in the same way, or do you think public pressure made him say that?
No, I don't think he pays any attention to no public pressure. I truly believe that when he goes for his guy, there's no wiggle room for that guy to get away. I think
Yeah,
that's who he's, a scorpion. And scorpions will, like, exactly. They are focused. Yeah.
we are
So,
like a laser.
like a laser, exactly. And so he knows he has to get this right.
Yeah. I'm a total Scorpio. Okay, if I get on
And
something,
justice is not fast. Everybody
it
knows
isn't.
this. It's
Right,
not
right,
fast.
right. And Trump fooled us to think that it was. That
Yes.
instantly the president's going to just tweet and ruin somebody's life. That's not how presidents are supposed to act.
No. So
Mhm.
he's definitely, and he's got a million things he can charge this man with. He's got to literally hone in on some meaty good ones and
Right,
make them important.
right,
So, I
right.
mean, it's a big job. It's a big, huge job, and there's just too many
Mhm.
tentacles out there right now. But at least we know that I mean, if they have a grand jury, they're already organized.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty
this
clear
this
he's going
the
to get charged.
organization, yeah. So it's already organized and going in the right direction. So
Yeah, he'll be charged soon, I think.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is another question. I'm going to read the question, but I think I'm going to kind of elaborate what they really
sure.
mean. It says, how long will the civil war of the American hearts and minds exist? Will it
Mhm.
continue long after the 2024 elections, or will a majority of the Americans start a new era? I think what they're asking is, how long are we going to be in turmoil?
Right.
When will this stop?
I just got a number, 2024. Now, look, it's never over. It's my belief that democracy is always a battle. Democracy is a question. It's not an answer. And the
Yeah.
question comes to us every day. What do we believe? Is it worth fighting for? The Electoral College is picking the guy who gets second or the woman who gets second place. Is that okay with us? Every day we are asked these questions, and every day there are people who are masters of disinformation. We will always be fighting that war. It's just a question of, is it against 51% of people or 10% of people or whatever it is. So, we're Americans. We're always supposed to ask that question every single day. And, but 2024, Look, first of all, correct me if I'm wrong, 2024, well, there'll be an election. So either the Republicans will win, either it'll be DeSantis or it'll be somebody Democrat. We don't really know who right now, because that's being shifted, I believe. But in 2024, I think I see people going, like the worst is over. It will no longer be a crisis that's existential. It'll still be a problem. We're going to have to make some laws like, you can't go and call the kids who were shot crisis actors. You just can't do that, right? You
Yeah.
can't go and say, hey, Russia, go ahead and meddle in our election.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make those laws. And Trump has just come here to let us know. In a way, he's an agent, he's a reflection of the problem more than the heart of the problem. So, but I just really want to reassure people in 2024, we will take the sigh of relief that we thought we were going to take in 2020. Nobody gave us that chance because even before the votes were counted, Trump declared himself the winner. He robbed us of our victories, or our victory speeches, because the problem has continued. It's not going well for this body. And Trump is one of the reasons that the Republicans are sinking. The fact that they put a bunch of conservatives on the Supreme Court, their success is causing us to react and say, no way, now you're taking away our civil rights. I do really feel, that to me is even more important, that we get rid of the Supreme Court, that we put in some people that aren't basically working towards the Handmaid's Tale. That's even more important.
Well, if we keep the Senate, or we keep the House, and we gain in the Senate, we'll be able to impeach Clarence Thomas. We'll be able to impeach every single one of them that lied.
Yeah.
So that's what I keep on telling people. It's like, vote, vote, vote. Let's get a majority in the Senate. It's that, keep the House, and gain, but it's the majority in the Senate that we need to continue on and to get this under control. If we don't gain it, we'll never get it under control.
That's right. That's exactly what's going to happen. The only reason Trump is being prosecuted is because he was such a bad president that Dems made some gains. I think the fact that he tried to take over the country actually made those two senators in Georgia win, right? The fact that he did that means all of us are watching, and everybody can't really deny the truth that Trump was a monster who colluded with Russia and is a criminal mafia don, that something about 2024 finally answers the question.
Okay.
And no longer will we have Trump. Potentially no longer, if he can't win in 2024, he can't win.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he's going to run I don't think he'll be there. I don't think
he'll
be on the ticket. I really just don't.
Yeah.
And then we're still young enough that we'll be able to be here after he has died.
Yes.
It'll be the glory days.
Yes.
Let's see. So I don't know why this question is here, but somebody's asked this question. Will it be safe to travel to Britain Islands in Europe in September and October?
Beginning of that question, I saw a sword, right? So let's find out what the sword means. First of all, I have just a feeling of bravery, so I just want to, send a message out to those people who are fighting for justice in Europe, right? Good for you guys and ladies for going out there and protecting us, protecting Europe, protecting Ukraine. That seems to be the movement. And, it's like, it feels more like it's not a bloody sword. It's a sword of justice. It feels like it's not just the battle. It is the collective will towards justice. I don't feel like it will infect, the danger will not infect Europe further, although they are being punished with high oil prices. But to keep in mind, so is Russia. They are not able to export and make money to pay for the war either. It's very helpful, by the way, to watch Malcolm Nance because he's really a great expert. He's like, look, no way are they going to win. Again, I hope you notice the upside. The upside is the Europeans are like, okay, America's not helping as much. Let's get together and do this because we believe in it instead of sort of being these docile, oh, well, we're so helpless people. They have coalesced and they're working together. That's very important. It's going to be important when they combat climate change as well. They must work together. So
Okay.
feels pretty good to me, actually.
Okay, good. Because I'm going to Sicily in October, so,
Yeah. Oh, you'll love it.
I hope so.
Hmm.
Well, it's cooler.
Yes, yes. Do you like fruta de mare?
I don't know.
The fish,
The what?
a fish soup,
Oh,
right?
I don't know.
And
I'll
I
have
never
to
liked
try it.
fish, never liked it until that's you got to have it in Sicily. It is
Okay.
the best thing in the universe.
Okay. I'll definitely try it. I'll definitely. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see if we can get another non-political. Everybody's like Trump. Will Trump be indicted? Will Trump be indicted?
Yeah.
Well, let's just answer that question because there's a lot
Sure.
of them. Okay, so
Sure.
don't go into Trump because he's going to tell you, no, I'm not.
Okay.
Go into the other side and see if you what you see.
Well, this is always so interesting because, like in Gates, I see a jail cell. And it's always like, are they going into the jail cell or are they slamming the door closed behind him and laughing? Trump is not slamming the door behind him and laughing. He goes there and he is furious and humiliated, first of all, by the fact that he's called before the jail cell. So, there's a lot of, for a narcissist, just being forced to listen to the truth is it's driving him nuts. So he is in a sort of prison at Mar-a-Lago already. But is he really going to go to prison? Yes. I just feel like now he's sinking into a hole. Yes. And that's a prison. That hole is a prison. He is going to go to jail. I've said this for many years, and I'm unwavering every single time I look at him. He is in jail. So here, oh, Merrick Garland showed up with a key. He's locking the door. His daughter's there crying. She's still trying to, figure it out. She's conflicted about telling the truth, but she had to. There's a strange evolution going on for her as well. But he locks, Merrick Garland gets the key, he locks the door and he puts it in his pocket. I think that I like Merrick Garland more now. I was getting frustrated with him like everyone. But I'm seeing him going, the key is right here in my pocket. Garland, Garland has the key. He is another guy that has the key to putting Trump in prison. He's not stupid.
No.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I fully been I had a lot of people were like wavering away from Garland and all that, and I've never wavered away from Garland ever.
Yeah. Good for
Like I've
you.
never felt I was like this guy's
I,
got it. Here's another one. Will Marjorie Taylor Greene be indicted for her part?
Sometimes people are in prison and they have a file and they try to, like in a movie, they try to file themselves out of it. She's showing up with this file and she's like, how do I get out of here? Again, it's quite a satisfying image. I hate to take pleasure in others' misery, but when it comes to MTG, I'm a little bit more flexible.
She's put us through enough.
Yeah, she sure has. And she's just such an example of the problem. So she is there. Okay. Her jail cell has actually extra chains around the door. So she's trying to do it. That is a little bit interesting though, because it looks like the door doesn't have a lock. It's got this chain on it that she's trying to get through. So I think that is significant. She's making these efforts to get out. And if she breaks the chain, she can get out. But it takes a long time to file that. So she keeps trying to get out of jail, but it's like she gets caught. She's like trying to get out and she gets caught. So will she go to jail? Yes, she's in jail. She's in a jail cell and she's crying. She's actually, this is one of the reasons we put people in jail. She's thinking about it. She's thinking about what she did. Yeah, she is experiencing some self-awareness and a tiny bit of remorse in jail.
Well, I
So
hope.
she,
Oh, is that before she gets elected or after?
yeah, exactly. Let's see.
I don't have any trust in in her district, you know?
Yeah, we'll realize that if it's after, then they got to come up with a replacement,
Yeah.
right? Will be less experienced and potentially less corrupt, I guess. And
Well, they
yeah, I
wouldn't, yeah, they probably wouldn't have, you know, the other guy would be ran uncontested because they probably wouldn't have a
yeah,
Republican.
yeah, and it is her role. It is her role in the insurrection. That's the feeling that I'm getting. The vision that I have is it's the role. It's January 6th that gets her in there. It's
Good,
because she did something wrong in that regard.
good, good, good. Okay, let's move on a little bit. Love your collaborations. It
We
says,
love you
Dave,
guys.
Dave, will you please ask Spirit to allow President Biden to overcome COVID? Yeah, he tested negative today.
Oh,
So
good.
that's
Yeah,
done. Okay.
I have nothing.
Secret, yes, Secret Service update.
Say again.
Now, the Secret Service update, and I know that you haven't watched any of my videos, so this is going to be really telling for each of us. Secret Service update. Will they find the text messages?
Ooh, this is a great question. Well, first of all, I get whatever Sheila said is right. Okay, you're you're playing some beautiful music. So listen to Sheila first of all on this. But um, let's see if I can corroborate. Again, I haven't watched your video, so I don't know what you said. But let's
Right.
see. So who's this guy? Um, okay, there's a fellow. He's obviously Secret Service because he's wearing the full-on suit. Um, he is and I don't know why it's important, but he looks like a Mormon. He's got like almost a name plaque. And you know the Secret Service and those agencies are full of a lot of people are Mormon in that group because they want people that, you know, never had a drink in their life type people. So it seems significant. He's in an office. And actually, I'll tell you guys, I've met Secret Service before because I used to work in a hotel, and so I actually physically met them. And I'm seeing the place where I worked, that office, and he's in the back room, and he's just like, it's like he's really trying to hide something, and he's very, very worried. So is he successful at hiding them? The truth comes closer to him. The truth comes closer. I'm seeing Sheila again. She's right. Now you're playing a different kind of music. You're grinding an organ. But he's like, the truth. And I'm just going to say, Sheila's the truth. She comes closer. And he's like, he's a little worried. I couldn't tell you when. I can't tell you right now whether these text messages are going to come out in a week or 20 years. It looks like they're coming out. One more time. Are they coming out or not? Yes. It seems like at least some of them are, and it is in a newspaper. I can't see the date on the newspaper. I don't know when. Let's ask it this way. Do they come out in a reasonable time, let's say before the next election? I'm getting a sort of kind of. I don't know what that means, but what did you predict?
I did too. I saw the text. Actually, I saw Mark um Mark
Meadows?
no Mark
George.
we were just talking about him. He was the one that was skipping it on the yellow brick road.
What?
Huh, what?
Mark Short.
Yes, there we go, Mark Short. Mark Short actually kind of knew where they were at. That's what I had kind of gotten, and yes, that they have been found. So I was just wondering, yeah,
Yeah,
that was
glad
exactly
you
what I
learned
got
that.
to.
Let me take one more look. Yeah, he looks like he's been caught. Yeah, the guy in the office looks like he's been caught. I'll tell you the funny story is I worked in a hotel in San Francisco, and every time a dignitary would come there, they would go to the Fairmont Hotel, and I was the overnight shoe shiner. So one day I shined Al Gore's shoes.
Wow.
Of course, Al Gore wasn't there. You know, the security guys came in there. Never saw the shoes were like this big. And I never saw such a ratty, messed up pair of shoes in all my life.
Wow. Well, Al Gore was definitely he was an environmentalist, and they just
Yeah. It could have been a homeless person's shoes.
exactly
I
that's what
was
they
like,
are.
oh God, yeah. So
That's probably why the Secret Service is. Can you do something about these? We
yeah,
got an important meeting.
exactly. Yeah, it made me think more of Al Gore. I was like, he doesn't even care about his shoes. How awesome
Yeah.
is that? Right.
All right. So we have one more. It says, why so what about Jim Jordan? Take a gander about with Jim Jordan and his role and how much trouble he.
Another person who's like, I got to get my own feelings about him.
I
Right.
know.
I'm not super fond of people who, allow their coaches to molest people.
I agree.
Not my
Look the
favorite
other way.
yeah. But let's get Dave's opinion out of here. What is going to happen to him? It's pretty interesting. Again, I'm seeing a sort of tornado. And when I say again, I saw it earlier today. This tornado gets close to him. Oh, it pulls he's like holding papers and it yanks the papers out of his hand. Like the tornado gets close enough so that it pulls the papers. This makes me think that he's going to get caught up in this sort of January 6th tornado of information. Yeah, now the tornado is getting really big and it's full of paperwork. Oh, there's some paperwork, something that he wrote that implicates him in this crime. And shall we call the crime a coup? He's sitting in the Senate. You notice that Jim Jordan has become very quiet. We don't hear much from him anymore. He's trying to keep a low profile and be really nice to people, so maybe they won't prosecute,
Yeah.
This is a really trippy image. He kind of has hair problems. And when I see him, he's actually trying to do a comb over. And it's like, oh, hide the bald spot. Oh, he's trying to hide it. Again, tornado. Tornado. Look, I'm seeing a tornado sweep through the Senate. And many people are caught up in this. Good. Like everybody. There were 160 senators who tried to annul our votes. There's many of them that will be in some serious trouble. Political, if nothing else. What about Jim Jordan? Now, this is an interesting image. Jim Jordan doesn't seem to go into jail, but he does have a handcuff, right? So it's almost like halfway in. He seems to be handcuffed to the outside of the jail. So maybe it's even something where he gets a light sentence, he gets probation, he gets, I wonder if Jim Jordan's going to blab. So is George Jordan going to be the stool pigeon? Is he going to do that? He's kind of in, kind of out of stool pigeon mode. He steps out of a safe place. Again, he steps out of the pyramid himself. What does he do? Oh, yeah. He's got one of those identity bands and he takes it off and he tries to change his identity. So it's like he's trying to change who he is perceived to be. It doesn't work. Look, I don't know if he's going to be punished in the way that he should be punished for trying to overtake the country, but he looks sad and it's like his back has turned and he's going away kind of sheepishly and sadly, hoping nobody notices. I don't think his punishment will be what it should be, but there will be no, Jim Jordan of the future will be a diminished man.
Good. I really hope that that's one man too. If I was close to him, I know I would be arrested because I'd punch him.
Yeah,
Slappity slap, 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 slap.
yeah,
Yeah, that entertainment purposes only.
yes, we would not punch one.
Nobody's threatening Jim Jordan. Okay. I think we're pretty much at the end of a lot of our questions. I know I would like to see what you see about Bannon because he got convicted, right? But his sentencing, I think, is in what they say it was in October.
Yeah.
It's like, good God, why does it take so long? But
yeah.
What do you think is going to happen with that between
another problem with our system is it's justice delayed is justice denied. There's no reason why we have to put this off for X amount of time. It's just a problem in our system that benefits wealthy, powerful people, right? They always waiting helps them. It doesn't help you if you're in jail. So Bannon. Oh, I'm seeing all the oily Bannonness on it. It's just like greasy. Ew, yeah. And he has a little forked tongue that comes out. Yeah, it's like a bug, like a sort of lizard that eats bugs. Bottom feeder character. What's gonna happen to Bannon? I'm seeing rich people jail, I think. Rich people jail as opposed to poor people jail. Like they don't actually have cells, but they sleep in a room with a group of people. They have to send them to rich people jail because if we went to poor people jail, they'd kill them, right? So rich people have some
luck.
Yeah. But let me take one more step here. It looks a reasonable. I mean, obviously, I wish he went to jail like everybody else, but it looks like a reasonable punishment. He tries to get out of this dormitory type place, and the door is slammed in his face. And he's like, but I'm rich. I have this money to give you. Won't you let me? And they're like, no, that's not what we're doing. It's not clear because I very much have a feeling like Bannon will not come to a good end. I don't know if he will survive this trial and prison. I think that he will, but I think that he will not last long as a human on this planet. It has a feeling of he's lost the protections that he had. And now he's being treated just like another rich person, if not another person. He's being treated that way. So Bannon is out. He is on a decline.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. That's a lot for you. I know you had to go all in and
but
see
it's a lot.
You see.
It's a lot for everyone, right? I hope you all realize this is a lot of information that we're taking in and trying to understand. And, give yourself some love, okay? First of all, you can't take all this information in and not process it. Give yourself some love, free time, appreciate the things that you do yourself to change the world. If that's just being nice to your neighbor or smiling at the grocery store teller, do it. Don't beat yourself up or stress out about this all the time. Things are going the right way for all you. We really did do it. We really did beat Trump.
Yeah.
You should take credit for it. Yeah.
I started asking any young person that I see, and I'm talking probably 30 and below because I am 50. But I always ask them, are you registered to vote? Yeah. I just been asking every young person I see, are you registered to vote?
And what do they say?
And a lot of them say yeah or no, I don't know. And if they don't know, I'm like, would you like some help with that? It's really easy. And I don't know why. I just have started in my life, just ask, are you registered to vote?
Good job. Good
Yeah, it's just
work.
something we can do, right? There's that little itty bitty tiny thing just to
Mhm,
keep it in
mhm.
their forethought to please get registered and please vote.
And
So,
there are one third of people whose minds can be changed.
yes,
Don't confuse them with a third of people who will never change. They will believe that, lizard people control the universe. That's just what they're going to do. So don't waste your time with them. But these middle people in the middle, you can go, well, and you can speak to them from your heart. It
true.
matters, just like the January 6th hearings matter.
It mattered a lot. I know somebody, I'll end with this. Somebody was explaining I think it was on TikTok. They were explaining the explanation of talking to a Trumper. We're not talking like a Republican that can be like, yeah, but we're talking about Trumpers. And if
Right.
you pretend like the Democrats are the bees and the Trumpers are the flies, and it's like telling a bee telling a fly, honey is way better than crap. And that fly will never listen to you. They will always go for the crap.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like that. It's like we're just trying to tell them, honey's a lot better. It's sweeter. It's good for you. And the
yeah,
fly's like, nah,
yeah,
uh-uh.
yeah.
you know.
And I really want to support people like you guys and Sheila who are putting in that good fight, who are trying to explain to young people or people who are not yet convinced, who don't want to deal with us in a nicest way possible. This is democracy,
Yeah.
right? That is what we're doing. And if you think, oh, I'm a helpless person, I'm just this older woman, and no, people are going to listen to you. If you are older, you are wiser, and
There you
you
go.
know what to do. You are powerful, all y'all. You're really powerful. Again, we did it. We did it. We did it.
Yes, we did it. And we still have a little bit left to go. But
Mhm.
stay steady and this generation, these people right here, right now, we're meant to be here at this point in time to manifest a better life on this continent. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Good. Yeah.
you
Planet.
have a job. Didn't know
Yeah.
it, but you have a job. All right. Well,
Yes.
thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dave, of course. And don't go anywhere because we're gonna make another appointment for next month.
We'll look forward to that. Nice to
All
see
right.
y'all.
Thanks.